That's like getting your finger stuck in a...
That's why they're bootlegging it.
He wanted to test himself against the very best.
The final 48 hours of Lyle Alzado really were a horrible ending, but they were not the whole story of who he was. A man once feared across football fields lay quiet in a small bedroom in Oregon. His body was broken, his mind was slipping away. Yet behind that ending lived a fighter, a father, and a voice that still warns young athletes today. By mid-May 1992, Lyle Alzado was confined to his bed at home in Lake Oswego, Oregon, just outside Portland. The man who once stood 300 pounds of pure muscle had shrunk to a fraction of that size. Cancer had eaten away at him for over a year. The treatments meant to save him had pushed his body past what it could take. He had been fighting primary central nervous system lymphoma, a rare and aggressive cancer that grows inside the brain and spinal cord. Pneumonia had also taken hold of his lungs after his last round of strong chemotherapy. There was no more medicine left to try. There were no more games left to win. His wife Kathy stayed close to him through those last days. Their home in Oregon was quiet. The bright lights of football stadiums felt far away. In those final 48 hours, his body began its last slow shutdown. Cancer pressed deeper into the parts of his brain that kept him alive. His breathing turned shallow. His eyes closed for the last time. He slipped into a deep coma and never woke up. On the 14th of May, 1992, Lyle Alzado passed away at the age of 43. Kathy was right there beside him when the room finally went still. He was buried the next day at Riverview Cemetery in Portland. About 50 close friends and family came to say goodbye, including Raiders owner Al Davis. The man whose career had thundered across stadiums went out quietly. Before we go any further into his story, take a second and let me know in the comments which version of Lyle you remember most. The Denver Bronco, the Cleveland Brown, the Los Angeles Raider, or maybe the man who, near the end of his life, became one of the loudest warnings sports had ever heard about steroids. And please subscribe so you do not miss the rest of these stories. To understand what brought him to that quiet bedroom, you have to go all the way back to a rough neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. Lyle Martin Alzado was born on the 3rd of April, 1949, in a poor part of town called Brownsville. His father, Maurice, was a street fighter, an alcoholic, and a violent man. His mother, Martha, did her best to hold the family together. When Lyle was 10, the family moved to Cedarhurst, Long Island, but his father walked out on them not long after. That kind of pain stays with a young boy. It built into anger, and that anger never really left him. To survive, young Lyle made himself tough. He picked fights. He got into trouble. At Lawrence High School, he was thin and tall, but already willing to throw hands with anyone. His grades were poor, and that closed doors he wanted to walk through. New Mexico State had offered him a scholarship, but pulled it just 2 weeks before he was supposed to arrive. He went to a small junior college in Texas, then ended up at Yankton College in South Dakota. There he studied special education and worked with kids in the community. He also lifted weights for hours every day. He needed to be bigger if he ever wanted to play pro football. He grew. He pushed. He turned himself into a beast. In 1971, the Denver Broncos drafted him in the 4th round, the 79th overall pick. From the moment he stepped on the field, Lyle played like a man with something to prove. He became the heart of the famous Orange Crush defense. The team trainer once said Lyle was the hardest worker on the roster. He would arrive at the facility long before anyone else and lift weights for over an hour by himself. He set a Broncos sack record in 1974. A bad knee injury cost him most of 1976. He came back in 1977 stronger, helped Denver reach Super Bowl 12, and won big honors including the Alan Page Award and UPI Defensive Player of the Year. After a contract fight, Denver traded him to Cleveland. He spent 3 seasons with the Browns and led that famous Cardiac Kids defense in sacks 2 times. Then in 1982, he joined the Los Angeles Raiders, and that team felt like home. The Raiders had a bad boy image, and Lyle fit right in next to wild men like Ted Hendricks, John Matuzak, and Jack Tatum. Under coach Tom Flores, he won Super Bowl 18 and was named 1982 Comeback Player of the Year. He was so fierce that in one game against the New York Jets, he ripped off another player's helmet and threw it across the field. The league actually wrote a new rule because of him. But behind that fire, there was a fragile man. Teammates like Reuben Carter and Matt Millen could see it. They knew that Lyle was hurting deep inside and needed people to keep telling him he was worth something. That need pushed him towards something dangerous. As far back as 1969, while still in college, Lyle started using anabolic steroids. Later, he added human growth hormone. He spent thousands every year on these drugs. He said he simply did not feel strong without them. The drugs gave him size and rage, but they were quietly taking him apart from the inside. The Raiders team doctor, Dr. Robert Huizenga, warned him many times. Blood tests showed huge levels of steroids in his system. His liver and his cholesterol were taking a beating. Lyle did not stop. He chose football over his own health. He retired in 1985 and tried acting in films and ads. It went well enough for a while, but in 1990, at 41 years old, he tried to come back to the Raiders. He pushed his body harder than ever with more drugs. Then a serious right knee injury in training camp ended it. He played in only one preseason game before being released. Soon after that, he married his fourth wife, Kathy Davis, from Lake Oswego, Oregon. People at the wedding noticed something was very wrong. He was stumbling and could not walk straight down the aisle. That was the first big sign. Doctors ran tests. In April 1991, a brain biopsy revealed multiple growths inside his skull. The diagnosis was the rare brain cancer that would slowly steal his strength. He started whole brain radiation and chemotherapy right away. In the final year of his life, Lyle did something that shocked the entire sports world. He went public. He sat down with Sports Illustrated for a cover story and told reporter Shelley Smith the truth. The piece carried two unforgettable lines. "I lied, and I am sick and I am scared." He went on Maria Shriver's NBC program First Person and said the same thing. For over 20 years, he had been pumping his body full of anabolic steroids and human growth hormone. And now he said those drugs had given him the rare brain cancer that was killing him. He believed the steroids had wiped out his immune system and let the disease in. This claim caused a huge medical debate. Dr. Robert Huizenga said a link was at least possible because anabolic steroids carry known cancer risks, and human growth hormone can speed up the growth of existing cancer cells. But many other doctors strongly disagreed. Dr. Thomas DeLauchery at Oregon Health Sciences University, who treated Lyle directly, said there was no proven scientific link between steroids and this kind of brain lymphoma. Dr. Gary Wadler from Cornell agreed. Arthur Kaplan, a top expert in medical ethics, went a step further. He criticized the media for treating Lyle's claim as if it were proven fact. Kaplan said steroids were known to cause liver cancer, heart problems, and infertility, but the link to brain lymphoma simply was not there in the science. So the truth is messy. Lyle believed steroids killed him. The science was not so sure. What was clear beyond any doubt was that his body had been pushed past every limit, and now he was paying the price for that long, hidden war. Just 2 months before his death, doctors at Oregon Health Sciences University Hospital in Portland tried one bold plan. They used a special method that briefly opens the blood-brain barrier so stronger, medicine can reach the cancer. Lyle was only strong enough for one round before his body gave out. By then, he had lost over 120 pounds from his playing weight. Even if the medical link was never proven, what Lyle did at the end of his life still mattered. He used his last months to speak honestly. He let people see his thin, weakened body. He told young athletes not to make the choices he had made. He turned his pain into a warning, and the warning was loud. His decline pushed reporters, lawmakers, and parents to look harder at performance-enhancing drugs in every sport. His name became part of a national lesson. A program called the Lyle Alzado National Steroid Education Program was set up as part of Athletes and Entertainers for Kids. Its goal was simple: teach young people the real risks of steroids and growth hormone before they make the same mistakes. So yes, the final 48 hours of Lyle Alzado were heartbreaking. The ending was horrible. But the story does not stop there. He left behind a son, a family, a list of football honors, and a message that still reaches kids today. Before you go, please subscribe and drop a comment telling me what you think his real legacy should be. The warning, the Super Bowls, or the man who fought to the very last second to make something good come from his pain.